Tonight we're continuing with our making sense of slope, and I know the title of the note says pledge plans, and that's what we're going to work on in class tomorrow. But we're still going to look at slope in context, or rate of change in context, and what the slope and the y-intercept mean in context to a particular problem. Okay, today we're going to look at an application of slope and y-intercept for this graph right here, which talks about Skate World's weekly profit. So the graph shows the relationship between the weekly profit and the number of customers per week for Skate World roller rink. So we need to look at two things: defining which variable is the weekly profit and which variable is the number of customers. So we can go ahead and look at our x and y axis. Our x variable is the number of customers, and our y variable is the weekly profit in dollars. So that's what we're going to do over here. So x is the number of weekly customers, and our y variable is the weekly profit. And that profit is being measured in dollars. So number of customers is our x-axis, weekly profit is our y-axis. And if we look at all these points on this graph, we do have a linear equation. So if it's a linear equation, we can write, if it's a linear graph or function, we can write an equation for it. So part A, determine the slope and the y-intercept of the line that fits this data pattern. Well, let's do the y-intercept first. So the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. Well, here's our y-axis right here. So where does this line, or where does this point cross the y-axis? It crosses the y-axis right here at negative 2,000. So our y-intercept is negative $2,000. So if we wrote that as an ordered pair, when x is 0, our y value is 2,000. So what does that mean? If we don't have any customers at Skate World for the week, we are at a loss of $2,000. So now let's go ahead and find our slope. So our slope is our rise over run, and you can do this two ways. You can pick the coordinates of 2 points, or you can just make a slope triangle, and that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to start at the x-intercept here at 400, and I can use any 2 points, but I'm going to use these 2 points and these right here. So here's my rise, and here's my run. Keep in mind our y-axis is counting by 500, so this is 500 and 1,000. So my rise is 1,000. And our x-axis is counting by hundreds, so from 400 to 600 is 200, so 100, 200. So my run is 200. So my rise is 1,000, and my run is 200. And if I simplify that, I get a slope of 5, and that means $5 profit per customer. So if we want to write that as an equation, if our slope is $5 for every customer and our y-intercept is 2,000, this equation can tell us, if we input the number of customers we have, we can figure out our profit, because that's what the y is. So if we have 10 customers, plug in 10, what would our profit be if we had 10 customers? And this profit can be negative, or this profit can be positive. So we have to see when we're going to break even. Okay, letter B, explain what the slope and the y-intercept of the line tell you about the relationship between Skate World profit and the number of customers per week. Well, we just said that. As the number of customers increases, the profit increases. And so if we look at the slope, as the number of customer increases, and I'm going to write this here, by 1, the profit increases by $5. That's our slope, $5 for every 1 customer. That's what our profit increases by. So letter C, if Skate World reached maximum capacity during each skating session for a week, admission for that week would total 2,400 customers. Estimate the rink's profit in this situation and explain your reasoning. Okay, so if the customers is 24, remember that X was our customers, and it's 2,400, and we're looking for Y. So we're going to go ahead and use this formula, and for X, we're going to plug in 2,400. So if we have the formula Y equals 5X minus 2,000, I'm going to take out X, and I'm going to plug in 2,400, and multiply that times 5, and then subtract 2,000. And when I do that, if there are 2,400 customers, roller rink will make a profit of $10,000. What is the meaning of the ordered pair 400 0 in terms of the number of customers and the weekly profit? So remember, our X value was the number of customers, weekly customers, and our Y value was the profit. So if we have 400 customers, we end up with 0 profit. So 400 customers will give $0 in profit. And why is that? That's our break-even point. They have to have 400 customers come through the door just to break even. Anything above 400 is where they're making money. Okay, so now it's your turn for multiple choice question 1. A skydiver during a jump falls at a constant rate after the first 10 seconds. So here's the first 10 seconds right here. He's falling at a constant rate. Using the graph below, what is the meaning of the x-intercept? So not the y-intercept, the x-intercept. So eventually, this line is going to cross our x-axis. What does that mean? Is it his initial height that he jumped at, or her, his jump distance, his rate of change, or when he reaches the ground? So keep in mind that this is seconds and this is meters from the ground. So at 0 seconds, he's at 4,000 meters. At 30 seconds, he's at 2,500 meters above the ground. At 50 seconds, he's at 1,500 meters of the ground. So when he gets all the way down here, what does that mean? And then using table 1, what does the y-intercept represent and what is its value? So the y-intercept is over here. What's its value? But the key question is, what does the y-intercept represent? Be sure to answer or put in your answers on the Google form. Have a good night.